Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Cindy. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, request any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, tier list rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And the reason I'm laughing is because this is one of those requests you don't expect to get, but at the same time, it was an interesting one. It's Heidi from 1937. Heidi, starring Shirley Temple. And I remember when I got the request, I'm like, is that really Heidi? But at the same time, I didn't mind the film for what it was. I gotta admit, I didn't mind it for what it was. It was different. It was a change of pace. Perhaps this is a film from her childhood. I want to hear my thoughts on it. So thank you for the request, Cindy. And Shirley Temple, people, well, I mean, they know the name, but they don't maybe know. She was really popular back in the day. There were multiple years where Shirley Temple was like the #1 box office star. And then as she got older, she didn't get as many roles, or she would do things here and there because people knew her as the kid actor. So as older, in a way, people weren't as interested with her. And then she just went into other stuff. She was an ambassador, United States ambassador for Ghana, West Africa, and did a lot of other stuff of that nature. And she lived for quite a few years. She passed away in 2014. Pretty good for someone. I mean, they were born in 1920 some, I believe. 1920, I forget what year. So they made it up to 2014. Pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. And for a child actress, for hell, a kid actor, compared to how a lot of the other people, I guess she turned out pretty well for herself. I don't remember any stories of drugs or anything of that nature. Thankfully, there's no perverts and all sorts of stuff. Because you think of kid actors, a lot of them went through the ringer. Corey Haim, first year Drew Barrymore went through stuff. A lot of kid actors. Gary Coleman, other people. Drake from Drake and Josh, Drake Bell, just that Quiet on Set documentary. A lot of people. So you could also say she was the first child star. Because I can't imagine who would have been a previous child star before Shirley Temple. But the name, now people know it for like the drink, which I read that at one point there was thoughts to turn into a soda, but then put the kibosh on that. Although I think there's been other drinks that have... Actually, I'm curious. Let me see something real quick. Bear with me on this. Wasn't there... Yeah. Okay, 7-Up. 7-Up had a Shirley Temple. So I guess they were able to do it because she couldn't say no to it now. But I actually... you know what? I'll be right back. I forgot I had this in my fridge for months and months and months. In fact, I don't even know what the date was on this, because I knew this was a limited edition. But honestly, I didn't get it because, I'm going to sell it. I don't give a fuck about that. But I'm like, you know what? How can I do a Shirley Temple review without drinking Shirley Temple? The soda, that is, not little girls. I'm not Hollywood. drinking little girl's blood. Although it kind of does look like that, don't it? You know, I don't even remember when the fuck... That tastes really good. I hope they bring this back for Christmas. This was a really good fucking 7-Up. It's sweet and tart. It's pomegranate and cherry soda, but this is like a sweet tart. And you know what it is? Actually, you know those sweet tarts, sweet tart things? Tastes a bit like that. But come on, I mean, I'm reviewing Shirley Temple. Gotta have Shirley Temple soda. Okay, sorry. Back to the review. Hey, if there's a time to break that out, now is the time. But yeah, people forget how popular Shirley Temple was. And she was a box office star for a number of years in the 30s. Now, on a side note, I know there's been this legend that supposedly she was up for the Wizard of Oz. Apparently that's not the case. That was never the case. I think even Shirley Temple herself believed that. Before I understand, no, that was just, people assume that because she was popular at the time and, oh, here's a movie that stars a younger person. But no. They always wanted Judy Garland. The songs were written for her, and so that legend was bunk. She was never up for Wizard of Oz. And Judy Garland did a great job in the Wizard of Oz. So I think Shirley Temple did some TV thing that was kind of Wizard of Oz many years later, just without the production detail of the actual Wizard of Oz, but. Would it have been interesting to see her in it? Sure. I don't know if she could perform the songs, though, because Judy Garland, I think, probably would have been a better singer, and it turned out, good as it is. But Shirley Temple, she had that star quality in terms of, for being a kid, very cute, very optimistic seeming, that you can see why she would be put into stories where people are hard-edged or depressed or pessimistic, and then here's this girl with a smile and sweet demeanor and, oh golly gee, we could do this can-do attitude that would warm up the dead hearts of these cold, rigid, stringent characters, and thus ultimately become her uncle, friend, confidant, however you want to put it. I also know there's a thing that I don't remember what movie it was, but she did wear blackface. But I'm not going to blame her, because she was probably like fucking 7, 8, 9 years old, and she's told to do this shit, and parent whatever, and, she's like 9, I don't know, 10, whatever. I mean, she didn't write the script, she just did, put this paint on your face. Okay. And things were different back then, too. So it is what it is. Not saying, that was right, but it's not her fault. How's it not her fault? Because she's a little kid and they're... Oh yeah, okay, put this on, okay. Anyway. So the story of this film, of course, based on Heidi, the character Heidi. Which I don't know if that kind of movie would work nowadays, because even little kids, there's such a way with phones, technology, iPads, stuff like that, that who knows if something like this that's so simple would even appeal to kids of today. But it takes place in the Alps in Germany, where this aunt takes Heidi to grandfather. Pretty much she wants to just dump this kid and we'll dump it with the grandfather. And she's just trying to make the best out of the situation. So she talks to the locals. She tries to yodel. This goat hits her in the butt. She falls down. This little other boy helps her up. And again, you see how optimistic she is. Oh, there's hay. Well, I'm going to make the best bed as I can. Hey, can I borrow these? And she takes like stuff from like a barrel to use as blankets. There's like a table where he put like this food. It looked like a piece of bread with like a big thick thing of butter. I thought it was like cheese or maybe it was cheese. Maybe it was cheese. I don't know. But I don't know if it was cheese or butter. It just looked like this like little rectangle thing. And because it was in black and white, I couldn't tell, you know. I guess maybe... Because she later... Sorry, damn. I'd be in hungry for cheese, I guess. Thought of cheese makes my stomach go, what? As if my stomach's Tim the Toolman Taylor. What? So, excuse me. But I guess it was cheese, because later on she tells about how she wants, you know, her and grandfather would eat cheese and stuff. But anyway, the table's too tall, so the stool she steps on, she uses that as a table and sits on her butt and, look, I got a table for myself. And, I mean, it's one of those things that, would I go out of my way to watch a film like this? Probably not. But as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, the acting is not bad. She is the star. She is selling, where she's just such a likable, cheery, energetic little lady that you just see why the characters warm up to her. Not in a sexual way. That's Hollywood of today. They would do that. What was that fucking thing? What was that fucking thing on Netflix? That, you know, people that... I never saw it. You know, I already forgot the fucking name. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Whatever the name of that shit was. It was like little kids, but then dressed scantily and... You know, someone's going to say the name of it. I'm like, oh, great, yeah. And eventually her demeanor helps the grandfather lower down his defenses, so he makes her a chair, and she tries to milk a goat, and she tries to do other stuff, and you start to hear a bit about, you know, what he's been through and why he was this kind of stringent, dealing with loss and loneliness and able to overcome that. A guy from the church tries to talk to him and then gets kind of pushed out. But eventually the two of them do go to church and start singing, and things seem to be fine there. It goes to the winter time in the snow. And there's a scene that honestly I don't think was needed. It felt like it was put in there just because we need... There were a lot of times back in the day where an older film seemed like it needed certain things. It needed a comedy bit, and it needed like a song and dance thing. Some kind of song and dance because, hey, you're coming to the theater, so we need to give you as much of a show as we can in terms of... It can't just be a comedy. There's always got to be some dance number or some song number or something, because it's the theater, it's the movies, and it's, you know, it's to be expected. It's like when you see some of the old Three Stooges movies. I mean, like the ones that had Curly in them. They were like supporting roles, so it'd be like this love story, and then there's these big song and dance numbers, and then the Three Stooges come in for a comedy, and then goes on, and other stuff too. Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, Jerry Lewis and Dee Martin. Okay, Jerry Lewis gives you the comedy, then Dee Martin gives you the song and dance, And, you get the whole kit and caboodle, and they felt that that's what the audience needed, wanted, and was. Unless it's like a horror movie, because you don't have Dracula stop and going, let me sing you, Do you imagine Bela Lugosi all of a sudden stopping and let me sing you a song? I want to suck your ass. Still good. Just, I mean, that'd be a different thing. Or Frankenstein, the monster starts singing, I'm going to shove these bolts up your ass. I don't know why my song's always something with ass, but, I do watch a lot of shitty movies. But this is not a shitty one. So the aunt, she's a bitch. Of course she's a bitch, because she's a bitch. She's bitchy. Tells Heidi, listen, we need to go. I don't want to go. Well, we need to go. Pretty much steals her. Takes her to this place where I guess really the cellar, because the second part of the story is there's this girl who lives in a wheelchair. Her caretaker, whatever you want to put her, called this bitch, different bitch, is she's doing a scheme where she wants to make this girl believe she can't do anything and she will only be stuck in this wheelchair, and you need my help and my help only, so the dad will hire me for good and be 24/7 and get an easy paycheck for the rest of her life. So she's making this girl believe that she can't do anything. And even the woman's like telling the aunt, no, I don't want her. And she's like, well, then you don't have to pay me. Otherwise, we're going to talk to her dad and all this other stuff. Well, now she's here. Now you can do whatever you want with her. That's what the aunt tells this other lady, this bitch. Fraulein. I think her name is Fraulein. So there you go. You're in trouble when you're talking with someone named Fraulein. You're in deep shit. But pretty much it's just some little cutesy stuff where Heidi will make fun of Fraulein or yawn or fall asleep at the table. I will say that's the one moment that did make me laugh, is that the woman's talking in turns and then Shirley Temple's like, because I do the feeling. Listen to Fraulein talk, I was feeling the same way, so I related to her. They see a monkey outside, part of like a circus act thing. They bring him in. He causes a bit of ruckus. No throwing a shit, just a different time. They wouldn't do that stuff here. And Heidi just talking with the girl in the wheelchair, making her smile, making her laugh, and saying, you could do it. Helping her try to walk. Until ultimately it's around, I think, Christmas time. It's around the time where the wheelchair, her dad comes back. The dad is rich. Has these presents. I guess the wheelchair girl had promised Heidi, when my dad comes back, we'll get you home to your grandfather. But then when he sees how well his daughter's doing by trying to walk and walking a little bit to her dad, he's like, oh, I can't have her leave. Look how much she's helping you. Heidi was given this snow globe as a gift. The Fraulein was a bitch and threw the shit. And the dad saw this and said, what the fuck are you doing? No shit. I mean, I loved it. Of course, they're not going to talk like that in the 30s. If they did, I'd be fucking shocked and laugh and go, yeah. But in my mind, he said a much more formal way. Because the other thing, that's what's interesting about watching films from, say, the 30s. This is 1937. It's such an alien world in a way compared to a film nowadays. Not just the fact it's in black and white. In fact, that's the least of it. But just what you know, what they are not going to do, what they're not allowed to do. You're not going to have people cursing, fuck, shit, pit, any of that. They're not going to show certain things, do certain things, scatological humor, none of that stuff. Because they're much more prim and proper and formal with the rating systems, with what you see and can see. And it's just interesting to watch movies like this. And it's funny, in a way we've gotten more vulgar with movies. And I mean, on one hand, I would say that's for the benefit because it makes us more free to express. But there's that part is like, you know what, it'd be interesting to have a movie try to do something like this, but maybe looked at as too pretentious or too. It's just not that world of today. You can't live in that world anymore. I don't know. It's just interesting to me to watch that. But I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking this guy's like, "Fuck you! What the fuck you doing, bitch?" So pretty much, she fires her ass as she deserves. By this point, the grandfather has arrived and is searching for Heidi. The aunt, or what was it? I think Fraulein comes by. I don't know why Heidi fucking believes her, because if this bitch threw my goddamn, okay, it wouldn't be a snow globe. Let's say my Game Boy from back in the day. When I was a kid, I would have had a Game Boy. If this bitch threw my Game Boy, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not going anywhere with you. Get away with me, I'm gonna kick you in the tits. Drop kick you in the tits. Okay? But Heidi just is too nice, goes with her. She tries to sell Heidi to the gypsies. She runs off. Eventually finds grandfather. They get chased by the cops. A little bit of a chase scene through the snow, where they're in like a horse and carriage. They get threatened, stop or we'll shoot. They do. Fraulein's like, oh yeah, it was blah blah blah, kidnap and all this stuff. And eventually Shirley Temple goes, well, talk to this guy. Why would we talk to that guy? That guy's rich. Because he would know who I am and he would tell you the whole story. And Fraulein's, oh no, he's busy. You don't want to do it. No, let's just wait and see. I'm like, wow, the cops listening and using common sense? What a time. So eventually they're reunited. Everything's fine. She's back at grandfather's place. They invited the wheelchair girl. Just really no longer a wheelchair anymore. Otherwise, it'd be hell way get up those hills. And the rich guy and stuff. And everything's fine and dandy. It's all good. Happily ever after. Happy ending. And that's Heidi from the 1937. I mean, again, the star is Shirley Temple. It lives and dies by her. And she's her cute, smiling, likable self. The grandfather didn't mind him. The girl in the wheelchair, they didn't make her. I thought they were going to make her some like annoying brat. That, oh god, and okay. And then she's going to learn her lesson and have a character arc. No, she's not that case at all. I mean, there's a. Oh, I, I went on a tangent. There's a scene earlier on I was trying to explain where the grandfather tells Heidi the story. It's a storybook. And then it transitions to that story where Shirley Temple's a different character, wearing wooden shoes and singing a song. I don't think that was needed. It didn't really do anything to drive the plot. I didn't think it was that good of a song. Not because of Shirley Temple, but just the song was just kind of meh. I would never listen to it again. The production there felt a bit, I don't know, felt more like a play than anything. I don't know, it just... Even around this time, you had stuff like Wizard of Oz. It definitely didn't go up to that standard. And I don't know, it really just stopped the movie dead in its tracks, and then it moved on. So, I didn't give a shit about that scene. The the stuff with Heidi and the wheelchair girl, I probably I probably would have liked a little bit more bonding scenes, bonding sessions between the two of them. Like maybe the both discuss their mom or Heidi. I don't know if she ever discussed what happened to her mom and dad. She might have, and I might have missed it. So if so, that's my fault. But yeah, I don't remember her. She might have mentioned it. I can't remember what it was. But to dive into that with this girl, because obviously her mom is not around, the wheelchair girl. So maybe some discussion with that, and just a few more bonding sessions, bonding scenes, bonding moments. Maybe more of Heidi trying to teach this person how to walk. Because I only saw her do it one time, and then the next time we see any of that happen, it's like Christmas time, and wheelchair girl pretty much lost her dad. I mean, maybe like 2 or 3 more times to see kind of attempts at it. That would have been, again, just more bonding moments between Heidi and the wheelchair girl. The ending of the film, the chase scene, you definitely tell the rear projection stuff. Which, I mean, is typical for movies in this era. So it's hard to fault it because a lot of films this era was doing that kind of thing. It's not a film I would rewatch, but it was pretty short. At the beginning, the Alps is some decent backdrop location, not location, but backdrops that they had there showing the Alps in Germany. I don't know where they shot this in all actuality. Like I said, the cast was fine, and Shirley Temple, she did her thing. She was likable. She was easy to root for, and you could tell why people gravitate towards her in terms of just had a very warm, likable quality that you just see why people. Hey, I want to see her warm aura, especially in that state of time where there's a lot of depression going on in the world. Like parts of today, yeah. Although it was way worse back then. Way worse back then. I'm sure if someone from 1937 who lived that is watching this now, I'm sure they would say, if you think it's fucking bad now, you should have been there in 1937. Don't give me that shit. If you think it's that bad now, be back in 1937. I'm like, I believe you. But yeah, it was interesting to watch. Something a bit different. And compare some of the stuff I've seen lately is the best movie I've seen in the past couple days. So, there you go. Because, Fred 3, Camp Fred. Veronica Tries to Die, whatever the fuck it was called. I'll take this. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks once again, Cindy, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now. And it got me to drink a bit of this, because I had this forever. So I'll drink a little bit more, put this in the fridge, and save it for a bit longer. Later.